Good morning, September 22nd. It's a gorgeous fall day. It's a gorgeous fall day. Had an interesting exchange again this morning, and one of my observations is that a person can have a powerful encounter in life with Jesus, and still end up living their life completely ruled by the ego mind. And I'm not questioning that the encounter is not life altering in the moment. It surely is. But it does not deliver us from the rule of the lower mind, the ego mind. And so I see that often in people that have had their Jesus encounter. They are often misled to think that now they are under the rulership of Jesus. It's not the case. It's not the case. Ego will remain the ruling force in our life without us even being aware. So in that way, a Jesus encounter can be deceptive because it does not really expose the core problem in our life, and it can actually put us to sleep instead of awakening our soul. And I see this with many Jesus believers and Jesus followers, that they are so ruled by their ego that ego will lead them into dark places, mentally into dark places. Ego will make them see all the darkness all of a sudden, and that's where their focus will be, to the point of creating a mental imbalance and creating depression, creating a sense of loss of hope, creating a despair. And all of these emotions are directly linked epigenetically of how our physical body is going to respond to those thoughts and feelings. When a person is completely consumed by gloom and doom and hopelessness, their body is going to make preparations to die, to leave this physical world. But the issue with that is you're going to accelerate your physical death, but you're still carrying the consciousness of that doom and gloom with you in your soul to the other side. And that is when people often will experience the temporary reality of hell in the afterlife, in their NDE, because the consciousness that we carry predicates the next reality. And that consciousness is not raised enough to have a heavenly experience. So often that soul will come back. Often it is sent back to raise the frequency of that consciousness, to come into higher understanding and higher seeing, so that when the soul does depart, it's ready to transition into a higher vibration. But yeah, so the real issue is, it's not enough to encounter Jesus here and not ever address the problem of the ruling ego, or the natural mind that leads us into lower consciousness. The only way that this ego mind can be dissolved or untethered is for the soul to awaken and to bring in higher consciousness, to raise in frequency, so that the soul, or the Christ mind, can then rule the ego and can have the oversight of not only seeing the doom and the gloom, only seeing what the physical senses perceive, and it can infuse us with hope. It can infuse us with light. See, we need light in our life to maintain hope and love and peace and a future and a purpose, so that we don't lose the sense of wanting to live, so that we don't fall into despair, into the darkness of despair. That's not what God intended for humanity, to be swallowed up in darkness and despair. No. So, yeah, I'm just here to shed light on that. Your experiences with Jesus will not free you of your ruling ego. That will only be dissolved once your soul is awakened, your Christ mind is awakened, and you realize that your true identity isn't your ego, but your divine soul. And then you can make your divine soul, I am, the master of your life, the master of your thoughts and emotions. And you're not going to be led into these rabbit holes of darkness and despair and depression. This is a beautiful life, but our mind will turn it upside down and cause us to despair of this life and not be able to see the light and the beauty in it. It's all about perceptions, in what angle we view from or look from. So do not be deceived by your own mind. that pretends to be in submission to God, but it's really ruling this whole affair by seeking to control everything and predict everything based on past or future events. You gotta stay in the now, stay in the presence of your soul in the now, and experience the light and the dark, and then that balances itself out and you balance out, and you don't become so jaded in hopelessness.